So the latest news on the Ben Simmons situation in Philadelphia certainly makes it seem like the former All-Star point guard is not going to be a 76er going into next season. Now, according to Jason Dumas, I believe is how to say his last name, from Bleacher Report, Ben Simmons has cut off communication with basically everyone in the Sixers organization. Everything is going through his agent, Rich Paul. Ben is open to going to the Golden State Warriors. There doesn't have much leverage in the situation. That's correct. He does not have much leverage whatsoever. The only thing he can do at this point, really, is protest by not showing up and not doing the workouts that Doc Rivers is supposed to have him do this offseason, which he hasn't been doing anyway so far. So, it's a very interesting situation where Doc Rivers had this whole plan for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was barely talking to Philadelphia early in the offseason. Philadelphia supposedly wanted to trade him on draft night. That never materialized. Now he's cutting off communication basically with all the other individuals in the organization. So where do you go from here? If you're Philadelphia, you have a star, former All-NBA player, guy who's going to be competing for the Defensive Player of the Year award the past 2 seasons, who makes it clear he doesn't want to be there anymore. Or at least doesn't anticipate being there anymore. He wants to go play for the Golden State Warriors. That's his preference right now. Is he going to actually go there? Probably not, because, what does Golden State have to offer Philadelphia? They just drafted 2 players pretty high in this year's draft, both of whom had good nights recently in the Summer League. But if you're the Warriors, do you really want to trade away those guys? Now, I've said in the past, I've said recently, the Warriors need to focus on getting players who can help them immediately. Because last year they had James Wiseman, and I think they realized that taking Wiseman, he's a developmental guy, despite being a high draft pick. And they really don't need that. They need guys who can help them win right now. The issue, though, is Ben Simmons one of those guys that can help you win right now? Because you have a player in Draymond Green who does most of the things that Ben Simmons does. He initiates the offense on the fast break well. He's a very good passer. Draymond Green, by the way, you look at his assist numbers, like per 36, per 100 possessions. They're right up there with the top guys in the league this season. So you have to really recognize that Draymond Green has been a great passer and great facilitator for this offense for Golden State, especially in the fast break. He's a really good defensive player. Obviously, he came back after a bit of a down year last season. This past season, he was phenomenal defensively. So yeah, a really good defensive player. Bit of a tweener in terms of his size, but good size nonetheless. Who can initiate the fast break well, passes well, doesn't score a lot. Ben Simmons, Draymond Green. Obviously, Ben Simmons is the younger player and probably the one you would want more if you had the option, but it doesn't mean that the Warriors want to trade away Draymond Green, take on Ben Simmons' contract, and give up however many future draft picks or however many current players who are high draft picks to the 76ers to get Ben Simmons. That's probably not worth the trade. So, unless Philadelphia takes significantly less than what they originally were looking for Ben Simmons, which was multiple first-round picks and multiple good players, unless they take less than that, there's no way I see him going to Golden State. So you look at it, who's left now? Well, Portland's always out there. The 76ers fans always hope Dame Lillard is going to be the guy that comes back in return for Ben Simmons. I just don't see that happening either. It's just not something that makes sense. If you're Portland, if you blow everything up, trading Dame Lillard makes sense. But I don't think you're going to do that before the season starts. You're going to have to wait until closer to the trade deadline to make that move. And if Ben Simmons has already cut off communications with everyone else in the 76ers organization, it means that he probably wants to be traded before the start of the season. You might be looking at a very awkward situation where he's on the roster at the start of the year, and who will he even be on? Who will even show up and play games? I have no idea. It feels like you progress past the point of no return. Where else can he go? Well, Washington recently just signed Spencer Dinwiddie, so they have a guy who can play point guard alongside Bradley Beal. They really don't need Ben Simmons. They probably don't want to trade Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons. What about Toronto? Toronto has a bunch of young players. They're going to be rebuilding this year. They're still in that process of the post-Kawhi years. They got rid of Kyle Lowry. They're not going to want to give up guys like Van Vliet and Anunoby, those kind of players, for Ben Simmons. They just won't want to do that. They'd rather have depth right now. They go out and get one good player to play alongside Pascal Siakam. They'd rather have 3 or 4 guys who are pretty good versus having one player who's quote-unquote a star, even though Ben Simmons doesn't do everything offensively. What about the Kings? Maybe a Buddy Hield trade? Buddy Hield's been linked to the Lakers. Supposedly they're still looking at a way to try to get him, even though the roster is filling it pretty quickly. I don't know. I mean, is he kind of redundant to De'Aaron Fox? Ben Simmons, in a sense, Ben Simmons is a better defensive player, obviously, much different build. But De'Aaron Fox is your point guard. He's running your offense entirely. He's not a phenomenal three-point shooter right now. He's an explosive athlete, though. You're not going to take the ball out of De'Aaron Fox's hands and put it in Ben Simmons' hands. And if he's not playing on ball, he doesn't offer you almost any value on offense. Are you going to turn him to a paint player, play him as a power forward or a small forward in the paint? I don't see Ben Simmons enjoying that. So I can't even tell you where I think Ben Simmons will go at this point, but it certainly sounds like he's done being a Philadelphia 76er, and we'll see how it all plays out from here. But as of right now, communication lines between him and the organization are shutting down, and it seems like these two are headed for a divorce. After months of speculation, this might finally be materializing.